Welcome to part 3 of Unacquainted Rage. This is the final part. So as I told you in the other two videos, about fighting your fight versus fighting someone else's fight. I had this incident with a couple of my nephews. One missing, well, not missing, just being missed because he's passed. The other one's still here, still running the shit. And another nephew, everybody always throw a loss in your face, so you got to get past that shit. But this is the point that I'm making about fighting other people's fights. Don't do it. Don't do it. Fight your fight. Make them fight your fight. Because when you fight their fight, you're bound to lose. So I got this nephew who has a lot of mouth. He's always fucking with me. He beat me in a boxing match. He's like 20-something years old. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Ty. Yeah. But he's not a real fighter. Which most people aren't. See, here's the thing about real fighters. Real fighters will fight somebody that they fought before. They will keep coming back to fight somebody they fought before. Just ask all these UFC rematches. Just ask those guys. They're real fighters. They are willing to take another ass whooping just to prove a point. That you did not beat me fairly. Did you lost? Did you cheat it? And specifically, the Gracie Shamrock bullshit, where Shamrock lost that shit because of an eye gouge. Did they specifically rig this fight for the Gracies? I love the Gracies, don't get me wrong. But I've been rolling with Shamrock before the Gracies got famous. Ken, not the other Shamrock, because I can't remember his name. But, I've been rolling with Shamrock for a while, and I don't care what anybody says, even though I love and respect the Gracies, him in that Gracie match, that was bullshit. That was bullshit. Straight bullshit. But here's the thing on that. BJJ is something that the Gracies have made extra famous. It's made everybody want to learn it. Makes everybody loves and respect the Gracies. I'm no different. I love and respect the Gracies. But there are no saints anywhere. Just understand that. There's no saints anywhere. I'm not a saint. They're not a saint. Shamrock's not a saint. You know what? When you are a fighter, you are a fighter. There is no sainthoods in fighter. You're either all in or you're not. And shit happens in fights. You got to accept that loss whether you like it or not. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, this has nothing to do with Ken Shamrock or the Gracies. I was using them as fine examples. Now, again, if you don't like something I have to say, you know where the comments at. And you can leave something in there if you're a BJJ expert. But I'm going to tell you the truth. When I was in the Army, I'll say it again. I say it every time I bring up BJJ. I fucking suck at it. But just because you know BJJ, does not mean you're going to whoop my ass. See, again, BJJ is a system that works when I'm on my back. BJJ is a system that works when you're on your back. If I have top mount, side mount, or if I got rear guard where you're like me, only you're facing this way and I'm on your back. Alright? So, outside of that, how do I use it to escape it? I use what they taught me in the Army, plus what I already knew from the streets. If you're on top of me, and you're in the lapel grab, my video's up here in case you guys want to go watch that, because there's actually a person, my nephew, helped me on that. When I got your lapel, and you're in the C clamp where your arms go across this arm and this arm because I'm grabbing you, and then one's up here, and you roll me. If you're strong enough to do that, that shit's gonna hurt. It's gonna work. But when I was in the Army and they put me on a guy who's like 300 plus pounds and every bit of 6'6", 6'5", I could not roll him. But I know enough kung fu that I could fuck him up, which is what I did. I slid my hands under his thighs. I pushed his hips and stuff towards my head. Bam! I headbutted him in the testicles. I slid from under him. And we did this every fucking time when the damn drill sergeant wasn't looking. I'm sorry, Drill Sergeant Haynes, Drill Sergeant Aztec Warrior, a.k.a. Drill Sergeant Miska, and Drill Sergeant Armbar. I'm a fighter. It's what I do. Before I was ever in the Army, I was a martial artist. I also was taught by a Green Beret way back in the freaking early 90s when I was the dishwasher at Kegler's, which also helped me out when I got jumped. So, like I said, a lot of people who haven't actually been in fights don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And they're not telling you the fucking truth. When you take one to the face, that shit hurts. When you take one to the face, that shit hurts. Your ability to recover from that shit is going to be the thing that's either going to make you win, lose, or die. Yeah, I said die because people have died in street fights. They have. Accidents happen. Hit a motherfucker too hard. His face is made out of glass. He's going to fuck to sleep. You shatter all this shit, he's in deep shit. Straight deep shit. You bust an orbital socket or an eardrum, motherfucker's gonna bleed. Shit's gonna come out, blood's gonna come out. And they don't tell you this shit when you're watching these YouTube videos. But I'm gonna tell you that shit because the shit's the truth. Have I ever busted somebody's orbital socket? Not to my knowledge. Have I ever busted their eardrum? Not to my knowledge. And if I have, I'm sorry. But when you fight, you need to understand two principles of fighting. One, someone's gonna lose. You don't want it to be you. Two, if this fight gets too rough, someone's gonna die. If you fight to survive, those are your two options. Survive or die. No victory. Because you're not fighting for victory. You're fighting to survive. And that's what I was taught. I was taught to fight to survive. I was not taught to fight to win something so I can just run around. Yeah. Here's the thing about a win. You can still lose and win. But when someone's trying to hurt you severely in a fight, even if you knock them out, you're not really winning. You survive that shit even if you knock them out because that stops the fight. But out here in the streets, this is where shit gets real. Out here in the streets, you're not going to always go to the ground. You're not. So you can know all the BJJ you want. You can have the black belt, blue belt, purple belt, whatever the fuck color the belts are. You can have all that shit. You can have a couple of cords from capoeira. I promise you, in these fucking streets, it's not going to work like you're thinking it is. It's not going to be like in the movies. It's not going to be like the UFC. It's not going to be any of that shit. Because there are other factors involved. Your skill versus his skill is just a tiny thing. Your size versus his size is just a tiny thing. Your environment and his skill set versus your skill set. He who has been in street fights and parking lots know how to use someone's car against you. He who has not been in street fights and parking lots is going to get the car used against them. It's just that simple. If I can get your head to smash into somebody's mirror or windshield, oh, you better believe I'm putting your head through that fucking windshield. Might take a minute, but I'm going to do that. Because I'm fighting to survive. I'm not fighting to beat your ass. I'm not fighting for fucking victory so I can have friends and they're like, be like, oh yeah, that James, he's a bad motherfucker. No, he's not. He's a fucking survivor. He fights to survive. He's not fighting for money. He's not fighting for a cash prize. He's fighting to make sure that this dude doesn't fuck with him anymore because James is 5'3.5". And everybody that I have fought has been over 6 feet tall. 5'5" at the least. I'm never going to see 5'5". I'm 5'3.5". And if you count for the military, they take off the half, which makes me 5'3". I don't have time for games. If we're throwing these damn things, I'm throwing them to hurt you severely. You may think that I'm hitting for this. I'm aiming for this. Because I was taught to hit you where it counts. Not, oh, I hit him in solid muscle. Yeah. If we're in the entertainment business, this is so that you don't get damaged, because it's not as hard to damage your pectorials unless you get hit by the Big Show, who's known to cave someone's chest in. But you get hit in the gut. If you can really slow down the camera a little bit, or if your eyes are trained, you can see that they are pulling these hits. Versus the UFC, where they're not pulling shit. They're hitting everybody with everything they've got, and that's just the fucking bottom line. In a street fight, there's no different. You're hitting everything they got. The difference is that you have a referee in the UFC. And in One, and in Havoc, and in Rec, and in Pride, and ISK. You don't have that shit in the streets. It's you and that asshole you're fighting until the cops come. And first thing you're going to have in a fight, there's going to be 10,000 people cheering for somebody. They're not going to be cheering for you if they're with the other guy whose ass is being whooped. And then you have to worry about the jump factor. If you're beating this guy's ass so bad that his friends are going to get involved. Yeah, you have to worry about that shit. If you've never been jumped before, then you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, since I have been jumped before, at least twice in my lifetime, you can take my advice or you can't. I'm not going to stop you. Either way you want to do it, it's up to you. Now, I'm trying to make this, I'm keeping an eye on the counter so I can make sure that it doesn't go over 30 minutes like the second video did. But I'm going to tell you the truth. The thing about fighting is really fucking simple. Getting hit sucks. You don't want to get hit, but there's bad news for you. That's the thing you should have thought about before you started fucking running your mouth. If you're the one to start the fight. That's the thing you should have thought about before the first punch was thrown. I don't want to get hit. Well, it's a fight, and you're going to get hit. You see all the videos. Oh, let go of my hair, let go of my hair. No, look, I have a ponytail. I know that someone is going to grab this shit. Someone's going to get a handful of this shit and try to rip this shit out. I know that going in. I got choices. I can worry about it, or I can make sure that it doesn't happen. I got a better chance of making sure it doesn't happen than worrying about it. Because look, watch this. This is a hair tie. No. Most people do this before they get into a fight. Instead of just letting the hair fly. They're doing this. So you see that? I just gave you a weapon against me by having that ponytail. Because you're going to grab my hair anyway. I already know that going in. The thing is, am I going to be dumb enough to let you grab my hair? Or am I going to stop you before you get the chance? Okay, check this out. Not only do I have a ponytail, but now I got a wave cap. Alright? So, let's say you're much like me. Now I can't see you because I just pulled this over your ass so that I can beat the living fuck out you. Again, shit that they're not telling you on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok about fights. A lot of the shit that we wear into a fight is what someone's going to use to beat your ass in the first goddamn place. And if you don't know that now you do because you just watched this video. All three of them, hopefully. Now, this is the thing though. A lot of people, and this is where this video gets real. A lot of people realize their size and strength is the main thing that they have. I don't have either. I have speed and I have directness, which is why Kung Fu works better for me. Now, the problem with this is really quite simple. I don't know what you know until you throw a punch. That's where the fight's going to begin. Which one of us throws the punch, whichever one of us receives the punch. If I block that shit, and I'm like, boom, boom, now I got a feel of how strong you can hit. So now I got to be ready. Once I find out how hard you can hit, and I hope I don't have to eat that hit to find out if I can still take a hit, because I'm going to be on my guard, versus, I'm just going to nonchalant walk into a fight like that shit's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. I have nonchalantly driven into a ass whooping before, because I couldn't get out the seatbelt. And I've never seen a black guy skip to a fight before. However, when he skipped up to me and tagged me in the face, and then he tagged me again, I was like, okay, this guy doesn't hit very hard. I'm going to fuck him up. He broke my glasses, he cut my eye, and then I was in handcuffs. That's the long and short of that. I never got to hit him back. Not one goddamn time. And then his brother wouldn't stop talking shit. And if it wasn't for the cop that busted the house next door, I probably would have went to jail that night. My cousin got me involved in that shit. This is another reason why I don't do good deeds for people. Now, the thing is, a fight will always shift. If you are knocked out right out of the gate, the fight didn't shift. It does happen. But this is why I'm going to bring up size now to finish this thing off. A lot of people who are over 6 feet mark and cut, like cut, physically cut, almost no fat, they think that their size is going to be the deciding factor in a fight. Now, I'm the exception to the rule because I like fighting people bigger than me because they don't think that I'm going to win. They look dead in my face and dead ass seriously think that they're going to beat my ass. And that works for me because they underestimated my ass. On the other hand, I don't underestimate anybody. I know there's a good chance that I'm going to get fucked up. But I'm not going to lose because I'm not going to sit there and just stand there and let you hit me. I'm not Goku even though I'm rocking the pants. I'm not going to just stand there and say, you forgot to say please and then take one to the face. No, fuck that shit. When this fight starts, there's going to be one winner and I have every intention on it being me. Because I intend on putting my knee through one side of your neck and pulling it out the other. I intend on punching you in your throat and flattening your sarcophagus. I intend on giving you an asthma attack. I intend on breaking your elbows and your kneecaps so that you can't stand up or throw a punch. Because this, see that? This controls this. Blood flow wise. Because your blood goes from the heart to the organs, back to the heart. Back, back, back. But this here, this right here, you see that? It's not going to function very well if I break this elbow when you throw your right jab and I break that son bitch using Kung Fu and Kempo. You're going to understand something. One weapon down, 3 to go. So if you try to throw a kick after that, same thing with the elbow, I'm going to do with the knee. I'm not going to do that catch you and elbow shit. No, fuck all that. When I catch your foot, I'm pushing and pulling at the same time. So I'm pushing your knee this way, and I'm pulling the back side of your knee the other way. I'm going to put this side of your knee through this side of your knee because I'm breaking your shit. I'm ending this fight as quickly as possible, and the best way to end the fight is to disable the person that I am fighting. And when I say disable, I mean I'm permanently trying to cripple your shit. Pure and simple. I'm not fighting for sport. I'm not fighting to do anything but survive. And the bigger you are, the easier it is for me. Because big people are strong. In fact, they're so strong that their strength can be used against them if they're not careful. Understand that shit. I'm going to tell you the fucking truth. If you're throwing a turning round kick, Taekwondo style, and I block and catch under your foot, so that means one foot's through here and this one's over here, I'm going to snap your knee because of how powerful you're going to throw that kick. And when I snap your knee, this foot, my foot, which is going to be close to this foot while you're trying to tag me in the face, I'm going to sweep your free leg. Not the broken leg, because that's in my hand. I'm going to sweep your free leg, and I'm going to fall on top of you. I'm going to drive my elbow into your crotch, and then I'm going to hit you either in your sternum, where your livers and your real belly lies, or I'm going to punch you in the throat. I'm not punching you in the face. I'm not trying to blacken an eye. I'm trying to end your shit. Period. Now everybody will be like, oh, that's bullshit, and that's bullshit. I'll say, uh-huh. See, 9 times out of 10, things that you think is bullshit is actually right. Yeah, it's actually right. If you don't know anything about pressure points, I spent years learning how to become immune to certain pressure points on my body. The ones that don't tolerate pain very well. Like for praying mantis grip or eagle claw, there's some pressure points all up under here that will hurt like shit. And that's why when you see certain movies where someone throws one of these and someone catches them under there, like, you know, and then they do one of these numbers, which is like an upward snake strike or an upward crane bill. So, you know, it really depends on who teaches you what. You can also do it with mantis, you know, so you can block and mantis strike. You know, you have to learn what strikes are going to work in a fight. And you learn by accidentally getting in fights. And the reason why I say accidentally, as long as you're not starting fights, you should be alright, but, you know, sometimes shit happens. So, your size doesn't really mean shit to me. It means something to you because you've relied on it too long. I have speed and I have directness. I do not rely on my speed as much as I rely on my directness because speed is just something I naturally have. There's just one problem with that. Other people have speed. There are big people who are just as fast as me, if not faster. And I have to be aware of that shit going into a fight. When you are getting into a fight, you have to be aware of all the realms of possibility. And if no one on YouTube is telling you that, they probably haven't been in real fights. They may have black belts. So let me end it with this. Just because someone has a black belt and can teach you Kung Fu or martial arts of any state, it does not mean that they have effectively used the martial arts that they're teaching you. It just means that they have a black belt and they are at the capable level of teaching you. But I'm going to end it with a simple suggestion. Ready? Are you ready? Only your fighting experience will let you know how good you are at fighting. Someone else's fighting experience will let them know how good they are at fighting. And if you and that someone else are equally matched, you're going to have fun. But if you are better or worse than that person, you're either going to win or you're going to lose. The only thing that matters in a fight is your fighting experience. If you've never been in real fights, it's more than likely you're probably not going to win them all. And if you've been in real fights, it's probably more than likely you're not going to win them all because you're always going to find someone who's going to have your number if, and I state this truthfully as I possibly can, if you don't train, you're going to get your ass beat. If you don't practice, you're going to get your ass beat. It's not going to matter if that guy's 5'3" or 6'6". It's not going to matter. If you don't practice and you don't train, you are going to get your ass beat. And if they're not telling you that, they definitely have no business teaching you a martial art. You need to eat, breathe, and sleep martial arts. You need to train that shit every fucking day of your life, even when you can't. When I was crippled for the 3-year hiatus that the doctors insisted that I would never do certain martial arts again, I had to take them out of my repertoire. There is no more wushu for me. There is no more taekwondo for me. I can still do Wing Chun because it does not really involve flying kicks and flying knees. I incorporate them in my Wing Chun because I took Thai fighting, just not Americanized, legit Thai fighting. I took kickboxing and some Thai fighting. Real Thai fighting is not something that we Americans are strong enough to take because we're soft. I have seen it. I have learned from learning of watching, but I have never had a Thai fighter teach me shit. Now, I have watched videos of how they harden the body, and I don't know if those videos still exist, but they did have videos where they show people taking hits with beads and shit. And not beads, I mean beams, rings, rods, whatever the fuck you want to call them, to make them tough. And they spray their bodies off with antifreeze, and they do it again. And they don't do this to the younger fighters. They do this to you after you turn 15 or however. I don't think they do it to girls, but they damn sure do it to the guys. And so you need to understand something. If you're going to fight somebody, you better know what skill they're using on you. You better be able to recognize their skill, and you better understand this one last thing. There are no superior martial arts. There are only superior martial artists. Get superior at one martial art, learn another, then learn another, and keep learning. Because the more well-rounded you are, the less chance of you getting your ass kicked. So yeah, I suck at BJJ. But nobody who knows BJJ is going to be able to get me to the ground because you're a heartbeat away from a knee to the face. Now granted, if it's a BJJ tournament, I'm not allowed to use my knees to their face. I'm not allowed to use my elbows to their spine because it's a BJJ tournament, and I know when I get in there, I'm going to be tapping. I'm going to lose because my mindset is that bad that I can't do BJJ. But that's because that shit that I learned in the Army, BJJ still, I sucked at it. I literally sucked at it. But what I do also know is that I'm not going to lose because I'm not going to lay there and let none of that shit happen in the first place. Now, granted, if we're in a BJJ situation and we rolling, I'm not going to do the shit that I showed my nephew unless I have to. Especially if I find out that it's not illegal. If it's not illegal for you to be on side mount and for me to knee you all up in your shit, you're getting kneed. While you're fighting to get my arm, you're getting kneed. Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fight to survive. I'm not going to fight to placate to you to make you feel happy because you tried to tap me out. No, I'm going to fuck your shit up. Size doesn't matter, skill level matters. There are no superior martial arts, there's only superior martial artists. Get well rounded, y'all. Be seeing ya.